In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister receives Global General Director of AMCORE Technology Group. Later on, TINH discharges water from reservoirs to prevent flooding. In our world news, Israel sets up wartime cabinet amid rising conflict with Hamas.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time, and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the Vietnam General Association of Agriculture and Rural Development, State President Võ Văn Thưởng met with members of the association. He commended the association for effectively fulfilling its functions and tasks as a social organization in agriculture. It has not only ensured food security and promoted exports, but also contributed to social security and helped the country overcome challenging times. State President Võ Văn Thưởng expressed his hope that the association will continue to contribute to policy-making process by providing opinions and improving development policies for an agriculture sector that produces green, clean, and safe products and protects the health of the people. State President Võ Văn Thưởng will lead a high-ranking Vietnamese delegation to attend the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing from October the 17th to the 20th. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said on Thursday the trip will be made at the invitation of General Secretary of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee and President of China, Xi Jinping. During a reception with Ji Rong Rip, Vice President, Global General Director of AMCORE Technology Group on Thursday, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính welcomed the group that had just inaugurated Phase 1 of the country's largest semiconductor plant in Bắc Ninh Province, with total investment of $1.6 billion. The Prime Minister affirmed that Vietnam wants to attract high-quality, high-tech investment capital. The Prime Minister asked AMCORE Technology Group to continue to cooperate and support Vietnam in developing the semiconductor industry, especially in contributing to building mechanisms and policies, transferring technology, training human resources, and improving capacity, management capacity, infrastructure development, and continue to cooperate with the Vietnam National Innovation Center. Global General Director of AMCORE Technology Group affirmed that he would continue to call other investors to invest in Vietnam, bring Vietnam into the group's global network, and attract global resources to Vietnam. Under the chairmanship of National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ, the National Assembly Standing Committee conducted supervision on the topic of implementation of policies and laws on energy development in the period of 2016 to 2021. The monitoring report clearly demonstrates that thanks to the correct strategic orientation of the party, the active participation of the entire political system, and the support of the people, the energy industry had experienced rapid development, contributing to socio-economic progress. The National Assembly Standing Committee also requested an evaluation of the quality of sub-sector plans, such as coal, oil, and renewable energy, and emphasized the need to address the issue of energy transition while ensuring fairness for all. National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ proposed the issuance of a supervision resolution that would highlight major issues and key measures to be implemented in the near future, as well as address shortcomings in sectoral plans and propose solutions for energy infrastructure. The 8th National Congress of Vietnamese Catholics to Build and Protect the Fatherland for the 2023 to 2028 term opened in Hanoi on October the 12th. General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, State President Võ Văn Thưởng sent flower baskets to congratulate the Congress. Speaking at the event, Đỗ Văn Chiến, President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front, or VFF Central Committee, proposed the Central Committee for Solidarity of Vietnamese Catholics, CSVC, to summarize operations and national patriotic emulation movements among Catholics in the 2018 to 2023 term and set forth orientations, goals, and tasks for the following tenor. He expressed his hope that the national patriotic emulation movement of the Catholic community has developed gradually, thus contributing to the nation's development. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng has signed Resolution number 41 of the Politburo on building and promoting the role of Vietnamese business people in the new era. At the meeting of the standing government with representatives of Vietnamese businessmen on Thursday, businessmen and business associations spoke highly the new resolution and the support of the party and the state. They also expressed their great expectations for a period of strong development of Vietnamese businesses.
I had never felt as excited as I am today. Never before has our country's economy developed, and it be as well recognized in the world as now. The resolution number 41 recognized the role of Vietnamese business people in the country's development process. Despite global challenges, Vietnam's economy achieved 4.2% GDP growth rate, making the country a bright spot in the region, thanks to both the state and government's directions and efforts of the business community.
I appreciate the support of the party and state for businesses and entrepreneurs. As business people, we are excited with the new resolution. I commit to continue promote my role as a business person.
Businessmen also appreciated the party, state, government, ministries, sectors, and localities for always listening to businesses, directing and promptly solving difficulties businesses face.
The corporate bond market has experienced difficulties. However, the government has supported businesses to remove obstacles in the real estate and corporate bond markets. Otherwise, hundreds of businesses would have faced great losses. We really appreciate such support. We hope the government will continue to be the fulcrum for businesses to rely on in difficult times.
Businesses affirmed that they will continue to accompany, share difficulties, as well as trust and support the party, state and government in working out on directions to jointly grasp new opportunities.
Our bank has reduced costs, fostered digitalization, lowered interest rates for customers, following the government's and the state bank's directions. We have granted nearly $532 million of preferential loans to support individuals and household businesses. We will continue to accompany businesses and act for a prosperous Vietnam.
New Zealand plans to relax sampling and monitoring measures and remove a mealy-bug species from the list of harmful organisms for Vietnamese citrus products. Accordingly, New Zealand's Ministry of Primary Industries, or MPI, is considering a proposal to remove the requirement for the National Plant Protection Agency, or NPPO, to inspect each grower's batch. Instead, they may determine batch uniformity according to another standard. The country also plans to eliminate the subject of quarantine, mealybugs, or Planococcus minor, from some citrus products, such as lemons and citrus fruits from some countries, including Vietnam. Drafts to relax these quarantine measures have been sent for comments to relevant countries. New Zealand is expected to approve the draft on November the 1st. The Technology Conference and Exhibition of the World Customs Organization, or WCO, recently took place in Hanoi, attracting 75 customs agencies and 218 technology enterprises globally. The event was an opportunity for Vietnam Customs to learn and apply advanced technologies from the world in customs management and trade facilitation.
Smart security devices, non-intrusive inspection technology, drones and robots are the most modern technologies introduced at the event to help improve efficiency in customs.
Vietnam customs has been very keen on introducing and implementing WCO standards for simplification and harmonization, and we're introducing technology, digitalization.
Over the years, with the application of modern technology, Vietnam Customs has implemented 99% of paperless procedures. 65% of goods shipments are cleared within 3 seconds. The exhibition was an opportunity for Vietnam Customs to update new technologies.
We are interested in container scanners, positioning monitoring systems, and drug detection devices. Some technology corporations also introduced the application of artificial intelligence in analyzing and processing information data in customs risk assessment.
The experiences, ideas, and solutions introduced at the event are expected to help Vietnam Customs improve the digital transformation process towards a smart and green customs by 2030.
Coming up next on VTV News. Ha Tinh discharges water from reservoirs to prevent flooding. And later on, Vietnam takes stricter actions against personal data sales. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now on to other important updates. The 11th meeting of the ASEAN Committee on Disaster Management, or ACDM, took place in Ha Long City, Quảng Ninh Province on October the 13th. More than 168 delegates from ASEAN member countries and its partners, including Japan, China, and South Korea, attended the event. As the chair of the ASEAN Committee on Natural Disaster Management, Vietnam has discussed the topic on evaluating, supervising, mitigating, and enhancing resilience capacity. Specifically, ASEAN members countries have made notable advancements in developing a strategic policy framework for climate change and natural disaster risk reduction. This framework involves state agencies, governments, and local communities taking a multi-sectoral approach. To enhance early action in response to natural disasters, the region adopted the Ha Long Statement. This declaration is considered a regional foundation for strengthening coordination on financial and technical mechanisms in the ASEAN region to prevent natural disasters. Moderate rainfall has continued in Ha Tinh and Nghệ An, and some saw heavy rains in the past 2 days. These provinces are expected to continue experiencing heavy rain in risks of flash floods and landslides. Local authorities are actively draining water from reservoirs and dams to regulate water levels and prevent floods.
The rainfall measured at this lake basin in recent days has been from 200 to 250 millimeters. The water level in the lake bed grew rapidly, urging this irrigation company to actively discharge water at 20 to 50 cubic meters per second to reach a standard level.
Based on the amount of rainfall, regulations, and the capacity of reservoirs, we need to carry out safety measures.
The company has actively mapped out possible scenarios and made plans to respond to floods and heavy rains.
There are currently over 350 large and small dams in Ha Tinh province, of which about 200 are degraded. Many need urgent repair. Some lakes were built over 30 years ago using oily soil, so they face a high risk of damage when storms and floods occur.
We sent out timely warnings on the development of rain and flood every hour, every day on information networks, even on Zalo and Facebook. We make sure to update every household, especially ones in the low-lying areas with difficulties.
In addition to discharging water from reservoirs, affected central provinces have also made plans to relocate people out of areas of risk of landslides and flooding. They are also reviewing and carrying out measures to ensure the safety of reservoirs and hydroelectric dams and responding to situations that arise due to the rainfall.
Mountain landslides and flash floods pose threats to people's lives and properties, particularly during the rainy season in the mountainous areas of Guangnan Province. To mitigate and proactively respond to these natural disasters, localities in the mountainous regions of the province are currently preparing for potential scenarios and implementing solutions. More in the following report.
Nong Sern district in Quang Nam province frequently experiences severe natural disasters. To address this, local authorities have been implementing safety solutions for several months. These solutions include reinforcing landslide embankment systems as well as adjusting the flow of tributaries and flood drainage ditches. Additionally, the operation of ferry routes has been increased to ensure the absolute safety of people and their properties.
Boats can only be deployed when it is deemed safe. Furthermore, it is mandatory for all individuals on boats and ferries to wear life jackets.
Local authorities also enhance construction inspections and develop solutions to address the consequences of landslides.
This year's rainy and stormy season is expected to be complex and unpredictable. The possibility of flash floods and landslides is a concern for many people in the region. As a result, local authorities prioritize raising awareness of these risks and implementing preventive measures.
The district authorities are remaining vigilant and instructing communes to prioritize the safety of their residents. In areas where there is a risk of landslides, we strongly encourage people to evacuate and relocate to safer areas.
In addition to relocating people, the Quang Nam Steering Committee for Natural Disaster Prevention, Search, and Rescue directs localities to continue monitoring weather conditions. This is to ensure proper responses and minimize damage to people and their properties.
Vietnam will test the efficacy of a Japanese-produced vaccine against dengue fever to create immunity for people amid a rising number of dengue infections throughout the country, according to the Vietnam Medical Association. The dengue vaccine has initially proved effective in preventing all four serotypes of dengue. Because the injection dose is the same for both adults and children, it is necessary to carefully test and evaluate their impact on human health before widely applying it to the community. The General Department of Preventive Medicine under the Ministry of Health predicts that climate change coupled with the prolonged El Nino phenomenon in 2023 to 2024 will create favorable conditions for mosquitoes to breed, making it easier for mosquito-borne infectious diseases, especially dengue fever, to spread. Moving on to other news, tens of thousands of accounts and personal information from millions are sold in personal data sales. Even staff of cybersecurity centers have been responsible for leaks of personal information from customers. The personal data market has become fertile ground for criminals and is the source of the most serious crimes uncovered in 2023. The newly issued Vietnam Personal Data Protection Decree is expected to provide tighter regulations in the combat against this high-tech crime.
On Facebook, groups selling personal data operate openly. People can purchase any type of information desired, from people with cars, income reaching billions to VIP directors. The information is constantly updated. Price range from several $100,000 to millions depending on the quality and detail of the data package. In recent times, several major cases have been prosecuted. The case of potential customer data Facebook group which sold information of over 1 million individuals. 8 defendants in Hanoi received a maximum sentence of 6 years in prison. Most recently, Da Nang City Police busted 2 large personal data trading networks with database of up to tens of thousands of accounts.
After quitting their job or changing departments, employees at certain companies take advantage of their access to customer database for personal use or sell information to external parties.
Decree 13 of the government on personal data protection officially took effect last July, raising the highest fine level for administrative violations to over $20.4 thousand.
This is a great legal corridor to raise the sense of responsibility and awareness of businesses and people in protecting personal data.
The maximum penalty is 7 years in prison. The punishments stated in the new law are considered strong, but will only be effective in combination with drastic enforcement from authorities. As trading of personal data remains widespread, each person needs to actively protect their personal data, especially when participating in social networks.
In addition to the documentary heritage items preserved at official archive centers, there are also numerous documents and artifacts scattered among families and individuals' private collections. Sharing this diverse source of heritage is becoming a growing trend with many positive indicators. Many individuals have taken the initiative to share information and donate artifacts, which helps spread the value of these heritage items even further and to a wider audience.
This man still possesses many issues of Phonghua newspaper, which was one of the most famous newspapers in Hanoi nearly a century ago. Additionally, he has preserved the Vui Sống, or Joy of Living newspaper, the first held newspaper to be issued in the Democratic Republic of Vietnam in 1946. While these publications were cherished treasures in his house, he has decided to donate them to a professional archive to breathe new life into them.
Many young people are interested in researching old documents, but they often face difficulties in accessing them. By providing these materials to archive centers, we can ensure that the centers make them available to everyone. This way, we can preserve valuable sources of knowledge and pass them down to future generations.
These sketches of the national emblem were created by the late painter Bùi Trang Trước. There are more than 100 sketches in total. Originally completed before 1955, they were later chosen to be the official national emblem of Vietnam. However, due to the revolutionary task at the time, the artists had to work abroad and leave the finishing work to someone else. As a result, the design was mistakenly attributed to the wrong artists for many decades. Fortunately, thanks to his family sharing the truth, his credit was officially recognized, and he was honored with the highest award for literature and the arts in 2022.
My father's works represent significant milestones in national history. We would like to send these works to the state archives for better preservation, so that future generations can access and learn about them.
Many civilians have been preserving documents related to island sovereignty and ancient administrative boundaries. We should encourage people to actively share these valuable documents.
Recent successes in document sharing include the publication of works such as Đặng Thùy Trâm diary and Forever 20. These personal memories of individuals and families carry significant historical value and serve as a message to instill patriotism in today's youth and future generations.
Coming up next in our world news. Israel sets up wartime cabinet amid a rising conflict with Hamas. And later on, the International Monetary Fund warns of weaker global growth in 2024. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday announced the formation of an emergency government and war cabinet as conflict with Hamas continues. The three members of the wartime cabinet will include Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, opposition party leader Benny Gantz, and current defense minister Yoav Gallant. In addition, Prime Minister Netanyahu also agreed to pause the government's judicial reform to prioritize war-related issues. The notice clearly states that during the conflict period, unrelated bills will not be considered for approval. Appointments for senior positions will also be automatically renewed. France is withdrawing troops from Nigeria at the request of the Nigerian army, the force that carried out a coup last July in this West African country. The troop left their base in western Nigeria on Wednesday. In addition to withdrawing troops by road, the 3 special flights will also be deployed to transport French Special Forces personnel and equipment. Previously, France had about 1,500 troops stationed in Niger. that is one of the French Army's largest bases in the Sahel region, which is tasked with combating terrorism in the host country. That is also the fourth withdrawal of French troops from a former colony in Africa after Mali, Central African Republic, and Burkina Faso. The global economy will continue to face challenges and is forecast to see weaker growth next year, according to the International Monetary Fund, or IMF's recent World Economic Outlook Update report. Economies will still suffer impacts of persistent inflationary pressures, tightening monetary policies, debt problems, as well as geopolitical instability and climate change. In the updated report, IMF lifted its global inflation forecast for next year to 5.8%, an increase of 0.6 percentage points compared to previous forecasts. Global growth is forecast at 2.9% in 2024, much lower than the 3.8% average 2 decades before the pandemic. Meanwhile, inflation is forecast to remain higher than the target level at 93% of the economy. To cope with inflation, central banks in major economies have hiked interest rates to reduce price pressures. But these policies also negatively impact global growth. On a positive note, the IMF believes there is a high possibility that central banks will be able to control inflation without causing global recession. And up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that's all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.